The Tibetan Plateau lies in the southwest of China, with Xinjiang to the north, Sichuan to the east, and Yunnan to the southeast. It borders Myanmar, India, Bhutan, and Nepal, linking China to Southeast Asia. Covering some 2.5 million square kilometers, it accounts for just shy of a quarter of Chinese territory.
The Tibetan Plateau is a quarter of China. Much of it is extremely remote and inhospitable. Its southern border runs through the world's highest mountain range, the formidable Himalayas. Its central part is a windswept and freezing wilderness the size of Western Europe. But this challenging place is home to incredible wildlife. There are more large creatures here than anywhere else in China. Tibet has been a province of China for more than 50 years, yet it has a unique character, shaped by over 1,000 years of Tibetan Buddhism. This obscure and archaic-looking religion has produced one of the most enlightened cultures on earth. Here, people have a long tradition of coexisting peacefully with the creatures and landscape around them. A relationship which has helped to protect their fragile environment. Tibet's capital, Lhasa, is a hive of activity. Lhasa is a focus for large numbers of pilgrims who congregate at the city's temples each day. Tibet is home to over 2.5 million people, most of whom are deeply religious. Though Tibetan Buddhist worship centers on elaborate temples, statues, and images, its beliefs are intimately linked with the wild landscapes of Tibet. Tibetan religion is a unique mix of Buddhism and much older shamanic beliefs that were once widespread throughout the region. This hybrid religion forms the basis of an extraordinary relationship with nature. In shamanic belief, the land is imbued with magical properties which aid communication with the spirit world. Here, animal skulls are decorated, and rocks are carved with sacred mantras, groups of syllables that are considered to have spiritual power. The reciting of the mantras is believed to create a magical sound that reverberates through the universe. The landscape is decorated with multicolored flags which represent the 5 elements: fire, wood, earth, water, and iron. The flags are printed with prayers to purify the air and pacify the gods, and the wind blows the prayers to heaven. Over 3,000 kilometers long, the Himalayas are China's real Great Wall. With hundreds of peaks over 7,000 meters and 13 peaks higher than 8,000 meters, they are the highest mountains on Earth. The Tibetan region contains over 35,000 glaciers that cover over 100,000 square kilometers. They comprise the largest area of ice outside the polar regions and nearly 1/6 of the world's total. These glaciers are the source of most of the water in the region. and the Tibetan plateau is studded with glacial lakes. At over 4,500 meters up, Lake Manasarovar in the far west of Tibet is the highest freshwater lake in the world. But the Tibetan plateau itself, with its mountains, glaciers and rivers, and as the engine that drives the monsoon, lays fair claim to being the real axis of the world. Apart from feeding the rivers of India and Pakistan, Tibet's glaciers are the source of even more great rivers. Vietnam's Mekong, Burma's Salween, and the Yangtze and the Yellow, both of which flow into China. Each year, enough water flows from the Tibetan plateau to fill the entire Yellow River, the mother river of Chinese civilization. Today, in China alone, 300 million people depend on water from the Tibetan plateau. With its profound effect on Asia's weather and water systems, the Tibetan plateau helps to sustain almost half of the world's population. For the moment, at least.